Hello. Welcome to For the Fans. I am Kevin, and I'm here with Kylie and Sheldon, and we
Hello.
are here to talk about this week in Big Brother Canada 11.
This wasn't a
What a
week.
week!
This was like I don't know. I don't know what this was. It started off with Vanessa, and it ended
Hold on,
off
hold
with
on, hold on, hold
Meg.
on. Let's not get there yet. Okay.
But
First
it was
off, good to
nuts.
see you guys. It was a nutso
Oh
week.
my
As you see, we've gone to like a weekly format to cover the show because with it airing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there's not really time for us to get in a word edgewise. So look for these on Fridays for us to wrap up the week with a nice little bow and talk about everything from HOH, veto, eviction,
God.
strategy in between, all the good stuff.
Self
Cheating.
evictions, quits, scandal.
All of it.
We got it all.
Kylie, I don't know what
Arissa style.
Arisa style, all of it. Kylie, we haven't got a chance to really chat with you too much about BBCAN 11. What are you thinking so far?
Well, last week was my first, or no, I guess it was the week before. I finally got to talk about some BB and express my dislike for Zach has not changed. It has grown exponentially, but I may have become a koozie stan because
It's impossible not to be,
the
okay?
girl did the damn thing.
Queen Koozie, Big Daddy K. She came in there. She took care of business. It's a
Yeah,
great
I
week
mean,
for Big Daddy.
questionable a little bit on some of her like initial decisions,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
we'll get into all of the
Yeah,
scandal. But the way that she handled herself, chef's kiss, loved it. Great
I
week for her.
agree.
And look, I sent a message about this to y'all a few days ago. Kevin and I have been talking about how gorgeous Santina is, and she is gorgeous. But something happened this week with Takuzi, and it's like I think I'm straight. Like
is
something
that?
happened, and
Listen,
She's really
and
gorgeous.
I forgot about Santina.
Big
She
Daddy
is
K.
gorgeous.
Big Daddy K is gorgeous, and on top of that, the power and the command of the power, it
Yeah.
just turned
Mhm.
Sheldon on. It just got him
Yeah.
I don't know.
going.
I don't know what
And
it was.
maybe
She
I'm
was
a
on
lesbian.
those steps, wagging her tail in her finger in his face, and everything that was coming out of. I wanted all of it.
Yeah, it was
I
great.
love
It
it.
was great. It was definitely a week unlike any other, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Ever. Any Big Brother
like
ever.
it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, it was entertaining to watch, but could you imagine how much more fun it would have been able to watch it on the feeds?
So I was thinking about, so we're gonna get into the whole week as a whole, but I was
It
thinking
probably
about
would
that
have all been
today.
blacked out anyways, but
The
still.
fees would have gone down anyway. Like the fees were down this week. There was no daily doubles for like 3 days.
Daily
Daily
Um,
doubles.
there was no daily
Come
doses or
on
whatever.
down.
So for like 3 days, but because there was so much that went on, and I was thinking about it, and in the BBUS house, the fees would have been down for those
Yeah.
multiple days as well because of everything that happened. But let's start from the beginning. All right. So we come out of last week, and Roberto is gone. Rob gone. Sad face emoji. I know Kylie loved her some Rob.
Hashtag broken heart emoji.
Yeah, and Rob is gone, put into the real world, but immediately we launch into like a witch hunt to figure out
Who?
who were the extra 2 votes to keep Rob.
I love a good rogue vote. Love it. I'm always
So
here for it.
I wanted to ask you guys about that. I don't personally think it is necessary to go on a hunt on to find who the votes are that didn't vote the way we thought. I think it's irrelevant. I think it's useless. What are your 2 thoughts?
I don't think it's irrelevant.
I mean, like, I can.
Go ahead, Kylie.
Oh, I was
Your
gonna say,
interrupts cutting
I
out.
can understand a little bit. I'm
Oh,
lagging.
Texas
Sorry,
has
I'm
bad
pretty sure.
internet.
You are lagging. Sheldon, go ahead, take it away.
Cool. So look, I actually don't mind it, and the truth of the matter is, the thing about all of these games is the more information you have about what every single person is doing, the more power you have in the game. And not having an idea of where the vote is going to go, and then almost the entire house having no idea is, I can imagine as a player, really scary. It's really scary because you don't know if the guy or gal who's in your alliance is the one who didn't tell you the truth. And so I think unless you go on that mission to find that person, um, I think it would be silly. That said, I think this week, look, outside of Hope, they knew who 3 of the 4 were, and they quickly, without Hope having to end up actually confessing, figured it out anyways. So I'm not necessarily sure it was the smartest move by Hope at all or necessary. And for the other 3, they could have just said the truth and called it a day. There
I
wasn't.
mean, my thing is you just maybe there's something like morally corrupt with me because if I go
Yes,
into the Big Brother house
yes,
and I tell a lie, I'm going to not tell a damn
yeah,
person
yeah,
until they see it when they get out of the house.
absolutely.
And I would have 0 problem and 0 regrets. Wouldn't
Correct.
feel bad about it. Wouldn't care who got pinned on. Sorry, it's a game.
So for myself, the reason I don't think the rogue votes matter really that much is that as long as the desired effect was still occurred, I'm not really tripping about it. And now I get what you're saying, Sheldon. Like, did my alliance member lie to me? If the thing that was still happening happened and I knew there was a chance they had a good relationship, I don't really care. It turns out Hope is the one that did the rogue vote. And one of the reasons he stated before the daily doses were gone was that he knew that Rob would be seeing this when he got home. And so he didn't want Rob seeing him vote him out, which is fair to me, especially if the numbers are bearing out the way they are. And based on how not just these batch of episodes, but like how we saw for the weeks prior, Hope has been like expected to do certain things and just like agrees to do them, whether he really wants to or not. So I doubt that he really wanted to vote out Rob, so he didn't.
Right, exactly. It's your game, it's your vote. You do what you want with it. And if you don't want to fess up, then you just lie and you take it to your grave.
But he did. And that, I completely agree with you. Like, once you lie, unless you get out of the lie right away, you need to keep it
No,
till the game is done.
you
Just keep
either have
lying.
to fess up immediately,
Yes,
Or
or
keep
you just
lying.
have to
or
stick
it
with
never goes away. Like it is
Right.
the absolute gosh darn truth. I
Yeah.
did not vote out. I voted.
I
Rob.
voted
Hated
with
Rob.
the house. I voted out Rob.
Yes.
That's just it. But like the thing that's so crazy to me though is that like no one immediately is gonna admit to it anyway. And so if they don't admit to it, they're just gonna try to pin it on somebody, and then that person's gonna get mad and rankled and be like, we heard Daniel, Sheldon, your boy Daniel. We heard him yelling, I'm gonna blow up this whole house. And it's like, bro,
Relax. It's okay. Who cares?
relax. No one
Who
cares.
cares? But
Yeah, not that
my
personal.
my Daniel loving has gone down a little bit this week. But we can
A
talk.
lot.
Okay, fair.
But I will say one other thing. The thing about these games is you have to lie. Like,
Yeah.
push comes to shove, you're going to have to lie. However, I think you need to be really, really smart when you lie. And if there are ways to avoid lying, like, to me, if I was him, I wouldn't have done what Hope did. If Rob was going, just speak to Rob, tell him you're going. There's nothing I could do. I have to vote you out. Because continuing on telling lie after lie after lie, like, it just is going to catch up.
I think it would have done the
You
opposite.
need to
I would
lie.
have done the opposite. I would have said Rob's going, so Rob's my boy. I'm going to vote for Rob. Like I'm
Okay,
close to
but
Rob.
he didn't, right?
Right?
Like,
No.
like, he had to
No,
make
I'm
a
with you.
choice.
Yeah. I'm
My
with
point
you.
is, make a choice. If you want to do that, that's cool. I think, though, like, the truth is, like, the word intimidating came up this week. I want to have a debate about whether things were actually as intimidating as people said it, because I'm not sure it was, in truth.
I think it was. We'll talk about that in a minute.
I can't wait. But it did feel like the boys, Ty and Zach, were trying to put significant amount of pressure on Hope. I'll go as far as saying trying to emasculate him.
Mhm.
Like, there was this this yuck factor in it of you should not and cannot control your game. And like I guess I'll give it to Hope that he said, I don't care, I'll do what I want. Right? So yeah, I know it was a crazy week, folks.
Well, we go from this and them trying to do a witch hunt into the HOH competition. And in the HOH competition, we have one of the few times in Big Brother, when I watched Big Brother, one of the few times there was like a universally happy HOH winner.
Well, and I mean, I really liked this HOH competition too. Like something that I
Yeah.
haven't exactly seen before. And I thought it was fun. I thought it was,
It was different.
I'm like really big right now on like having some equity and competitions across BBCAN and Survivor. And I really like to see this competition where anyone can win.
Anyone can win. You had to hit the ball, had to go through the thing. It was dope. It had to go across the like platforms that like fell out. That's what's really cool. And look up, boom, Queen Kuz is the winner. Kuzi's the winner. Everyone's pretty happy. Everyone's happy.
Yeah, nobody's
Big
like
Daddy K. Yeah,
now,
nobody's
but was it? Look, it was Kuzi and Anika at the end, right? It was quite close. Did Kuzi need to win? Like, was the risk of her taking the win too great?
I don't think so.
No. I mean, so like this is what's been happening so far 2 weeks in a row is that Zach has gotten into the ear of the HOH and has directed it to where they want to go. Kuzi knows that she's okay with Zach, but it doesn't mean she's good with Zach. She's great with Zach. And Zach's the one that's been controlling things. So if someone wanted something different to happen, someone that was going to be strong needed to take control. And Kuzi, I mean, you already saw what happened with Anika. You already saw Zach and Anika's ear. And Kuzi has Anika's ear too. If it's a Kuzi and Anika at the end, if I'm Kuzi, I need to win it.
But I guess what I'm saying is we all talk about the fact that when you play Big Brother, you need to walk in and go to sleep for the first half of the game.
Well, no, I don't agree with that. I don't say that.
Well, Kevin and I agree with that.
I do.
Right?
Yeah.
So I very much so agree with that. I would shut my mouth and go to bed just like Kevin Jacobs did. And I have to say his name at least once on every podcast. But like my fear is like she didn't need it. Like
I felt like the game needed to have a pivot or else
it needed to be pivoted, and she was the one in the position to do it. So
I guess so.
But and like, I mean,
but like Anika could have done it. Any one of the girls would have done it.
Well, no, I don't think so necessarily. I think her approach to it, and this is maybe getting ahead a little bit, but there's so much to get into. When she sits down in the HOH room with Claudia and Renee and Anika and who am I missing? Nene. And they're all sitting there and they kind of as a consensus are like, yeah, like it's easy. Let's put up Vanessa because that ruffles no feathers, and let's take out Santina, which kind of odd that you're going to form a girls alliance and then put up two girls. Questionable, but I think in a roundabout way she ends up in the right direction.
It's not that questionable when we get into it, but I get what
but I think whenever you look at it in the framework of this is kind of a group decision almost.
Yeah.
Kuzi is uniting the women, and yes, it's her HOH reign, but if they all kind of feel like they got to contribute a little bit, that does some good for the old team morale.
Well, before we get into that, one thing that I thought was interesting was that when she wins, Ty says it feels like I won. Which, shocker. I don't know. Did the boys, does Zach and Ty just think they're going to just have every HOH or?
Yes.
They do.
Yeah. Like that, they thought they were going all the way to the end and winning this game, and I assume that both of them were planning on getting the other one out at some point along the way, right? But like, yeah, I feel like I don't think there could have been anybody that won that they were like, yeah, oh no, we're in danger. Like I think they're that narcissistic. I think both of them are that. Yeah. I don't know.
It was a shock to me that he would say that, not just out loud, but
But it
so
also is a
blatantly.
testament to exactly what you said, that everybody was happy that Kuzi won. Like that's also part of my difficulty of a Kuzi win. It was she had to show cards. She finally, like, she did not have to show any cards up until this point. She was best friends with absolutely everybody. So she's gonna have to put somebody up, multiple people up, and show her cards. B, she's gonna have a new enemy because she put them up most
But
likely.
in the big
And
scheme of things, does
C,
she? I mean, when you're
well,
looking at
we'll
this
see
as
at
a
the end in a
whole,
second, but C, and I think the biggest thing for me at least is that she actually had to show her strategic intelligence, which I think is the most serious cards you could play in a game, and to show the people, wow, look at me, look at what I could do. This early on, now granted, we've had multiple people leave, so maybe we are already at the halfway point. I don't know where we are right now, but like it sounds. I don't take risks in games, so this sounds like too risky for me. However, she's a queen.
yeah, I mean, looking at it as a whole, I think she's come out in a stronger position than she even went into it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's not one person mad at her. I mean, hell, 2 of the 3 people she nominated are
Well,
gone.
before we get there, my biggest thing
We
though
just
is
want
that
to jump ahead, Kevin.
I noticed. You guys need to relax. We got some time. We got some time. We're 15 minutes into this thing. But one thing that I thought was very interesting was that I hear you, Sheldon, that she didn't need to show her cards. But Daniel, I felt like made a very, very good point the week before that if the two sides are not warring with each other, then they're going to shoot at the middle to make everyone okay. Kuzi and Nika and Daniel are those middle people. And with everything that had transpired the week before with Vanessa and Roberto and Zach and Ty backdooring and trying to cheat their buddies and stuff like that, it was no one knows where the shots are coming, especially if if Zach gets back in the ear of those people. You know what I'm saying?
Except that the way they were positioned was clearly that Kuzi. So yes, Kuzi, Daniel, and Anika are in the middle. Period. Full stop. But the way they were positioned was, whether by accident or on purpose, Kuzi and Anika seemed to be on one side, the girl side, and Daniel was on the Zach side, because I don't know, maybe he felt
Everybody's sad.
But really, like, he seemed to actually look. We'll see in a second how important that relationship with Zach ended up to be, and I assure you, when he leaves that house, he's going to regret that relationship.
Well,
but
so it's interesting because there's a lot that we don't see, obviously, because we don't have feeds and we only have a few of the microdosing that we have going on. So we don't have a ton of information about what's going on in the house. So Daniel, Zach, friendship, relationship, whatever, it's hard to know and hard to understand at the time. From what it seems on the episodes, like Kylie was saying, Daniel seemed good with everybody in theory. So if you're not taking the shots at the people on the quote unquote other side, you're taking shots at the people in the middle, which is why if you're a Kuzi, if you're an Anika, it to me it makes sense to win. It just you have to. And Kuzi could then try to establish what she wants to happen in the game, and that's exactly what she does. So next, like Kylie was saying, we see Kuzi trying to make a decision on how she's going to go about who to put up. She talks to the girls and decides to get something going on, a loose alliance going on with the girls, right? Herself, Anika, Daniel, with Renee, Shania, and Claudia. Good situation. The whole time, though, Ty is in her ear, constantly telling her who she should put up and who is okay for her to put up, as if, he was the HOH.
Is this Ty, or is this Ty after the influence of Zach?
Both.
This is Ty. And he just watched Zach do it for 2 weeks in a row. And so he's like, okay, my turn. Let me get up in there and take care of this.
No, but
because Zach's not close to her.
I'm going further. I'm trying to, probably I shouldn't do this. I'm trying to have a discussion about Zach, about Ty, the man, who leaves this house.
I told you
I
that I
think
saw
Zach-
red flags from our boy Ty week 1 in his relationship with Claudia that as a woman would have sent me running for the hills, and that I would have hoped would have sent Claudia running for the hills.
It has not.
And so I think that he probably has these inclinations anyways to maybe be a little controlling and maybe a little dismissive. And then he gets around somebody like Zach, who is a complete
Amplifies it.
narcissist.
It amplifies it.
And yeah, they just feed off of each other.
So I don't know if this is Ty the person, but it does not seem like it's out of character. He seems very
Right.
simple to get to this. You watched him kind of do it. Like my biggest disappointment in Ty myself is the amount of times someone says, "So what's going on?" He's like, "Watch, you'll see.
Well,
You'll see."
Not a fan. Not a fan of his. He is slightly better than Zach. Minimal.
But I mean, Sheldon, you were saying about his.
No, I
You'll
no,
see.
I completely agree with you guys. Like, what I don't like. I think we have been so overshadowed. I should speak for myself over the last few weeks with Zach's behavior that we weren't actually getting a lot of Ty's behavior. And this week things came to an end. And truth be told, I'm going to fast forward a bit. I would not have been upset if he walked out with Zach.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to that, but I don't know why you gotta keep fast forwarding. We're going through this
because these two
Kevin,
men,
if anybody is spending the time to watch this, they know what's happened. So
Yes.
it's okay to talk about it in the big scope of things.
But here's the thing, though. Like the reason I want to go moment by moment, because I feel like each of these moments really shape what happened. Because in the end of the day, Zach leaves. As we know, Zach leaves at the end of the day. But the way we got there, say what? The journey of us getting there is so important, because this whole week we see the dominance of Kuzi as a person and as a player. And so going through these steps, especially not having any of the daily doubles, this is a important situation, because she realizes that Santina, like, she doesn't just realize, she states that Santina does nothing for her game. And not only does she state it, she tells Ty this. And Ty's like, "I don't like this idea. Ty, you're not in charge, my guy. It is Kuzi's in charge of what's going on." And she tells him as much, like, "Listen, she's good for your game. She's not good for my game. So since she's not good for my game, that's not why I want to be here." And he's like, "How about Renee?" And she's like, "I'm not thinking about Renee right now. I'm thinking about
Santina. Damn, let's give Renee a freaking break. Like, first of all,
that's the thing, though, Kylie.
Homegirl's been on the block 2 weeks in a row,
right?
And she sucks at competitions.
But I'm sorry, there's also this ridiculousness of, he's obviously not seeing that Renee and Kuzi have an okay relationship.
Right.
He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
Like, but that's insane.
It's not, though. And let me tell you, the reason I exclaim it's not is because, as far as Zach and Ty have been concerned, is whatever they want to happen happens, right? Dan and Roberto didn't have a bad relationship, but Dan put up Roberto. JM, it was safe according to Santina, and they still got JM up there. So as far as the two of them are concerned, what we say goes is what's going to happen. I see that you're friends with Renee, but it doesn't matter, because Renee, I mean, he says it to her, and this was crazy, Sheldon. He says it to her. He says, "Well, you're not seeing that Renee is an indirect threat to you." And he says, "I'm looking at direct threats to me."
Like, yeah.
And I'm like, when he says that, I'm like, you're insane to think that you're just going to tell people what they're going to do. It did work twice. It worked twice.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean it's going to work every time.
It shouldn't.
And here we are. It shouldn't have worked twice.
It shouldn't have worked twice. Like, I don't know. Like, I might be able to actually give it to Dan, because he has no idea what's going on in the house and the game. But it should not. Santina knew they were controlling her. And like, it should not have happened to her.
Yes. And you're so right. And that's why it's like insane to me that, like, Ty's like, Renee needs to go. And she's like, I'm not thinking about Renee. And he's like, you just want to take out all the weak, you want to take out all the strong people, and then that just leaves the weak people.
Can you also explain, like, we don't really touch about this at all over any of these episodes, but here's Ty. He decides to talk game to Kuzi. He's not talking game with the girl he's making out with?
Correct.
What is this?
Well, what it is that the relationship between Kuzi, Ty, and Hope is a different kind of relationship.
Why?
I don't know where Kuzi's from, because Kuzi has a very
South Africa and Zimbabwe is what she said.
Okay, so she's from, but she's in Canada by way of South Africa or Zimbabwe. So the three black players, if you will, I think Anika's black too, but the three of them have really seemed to bond together in terms of Hope.
I think Anika's Indian, I think. But
okay, but Hope, Ty, and before this week, Hope, Ty, and Kuzi seem to have bonded together due to their heritage. So they seem to be working together, because as you notice, that Ty is not really an option for. Yeah. But so it doesn't seem though that Ty is a option for Kuzi, right? So she's like, she even says later on this week, I can keep you safe, but I don't mean I can keep your friends safe. Like she says that to him. And because of that, though, he seems to think that he's in control of what's going to happen. Not just that he's going to be safe, he's the one that's going to be in control, which is why he feels like he can share with her what his thoughts are and what his emotions are in terms of
not just
what
his
should
thoughts,
happen.
Not that he can share
his direct commands.
He can make her bend to his will.
Do what he wants her to do. And Kuzi, Queen Kuzi, Big Daddy K, she's making it very clear that no, I'm in charge. You are safe. I'm in charge.
Not clear enough for him to understand, evidently.
It is clear enough for him to understand. He doesn't like it. And that's what's so key, is that he understands distinctly, because the amount of times this man has gotten up and went to walk away from her says he understood exactly what she said, but he's frustrated that she's not bending to his will. And that's what the case is. And so he goes and talks to her, and she states that I am going to be putting up Santina, and I'm going to see what else I can do. He says, put up Vanessa and Renee. She almost splits the difference, but she has the plan all along, and she ends up putting up Vanessa and Santina. When Santina goes on the block, she's very upset. She states, why couldn't you have given me a heads up? What am I doing here? How am I a threat to you? You know, all the things JM said to her. And I was hoping that Kuzi just told her, it is what it is.
I mean, it's just part of the game. Like, I don't understand the people that get like this pissed. Like, there's a very limited pool of people to be selected from, and if you're not that close with her, why are you just flabbergasted knowing that you've been painted as to working with Zach and Ty? Like,
I kind of have, so I agree with everything that both of you said. I feel a little bit bad for Santina. Santina made a mistake in week 1 of this game. And I think she chose a side, not understanding who these people are, what their character is, what type of game they want to play. And I think she dug herself this hole that I haven't seen her trying to dig out of it, actually. But I'm not sure.
She starts last week. She starts like last week when they want to put up Rob, right? She starts working as a triple agent, like we talked about. And so she's working undercover. But unfortunately for her, because of her previous actions, the girls don't trust her.
No.
And because of her more recent actions, the guys don't trust her.
She's on an island by herself. Like, talk about being in the middle. She's the real middle that nobody gives a crap about if she leaves her go. Like everybody would be okay with Santina leaving.
Ty wouldn't. Ty wanted to bring her back in, which is why Kuzi's like, I'm going to go ahead and cut her because she's no good to me.
But Ty wanted to bring her back in. Simple. She's a pawn. Period.
Correct.
Full stop.
Correct.
She's a number. He's already convinced her to do something. He'll convince her again if she wins. Like, he wants to use her.
Yeah.
Okay, Russell.
And then with Vanessa, she puts Vanessa on the block partially as a pawn, partially as a decoy. If she goes, she goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was a bad move. I think she probably should have put up Hope to begin with. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think that was an easy name. Like you said, nobody's upset if you put up Vanessa. Like, she doesn't seem to have anybody. So
Vanessa
I
doesn't
don't.
even seem upset.
Yeah, Vanessa's like, she was actually like a really flattering of me.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I don't know about that actually. Like I agree, she was extremely flattering, but she did go home. And
So
like,
let's get into that. Let's get into that because we see her go on the block, and then the episode ends. Then the next episode begins, and within those first moments, we find out Vanessa has an emergency and she's gone.
Okay, so I mean, I had to like unfollow the BBCAN hashtag on Twitter because I didn't watch any of the episodes until today, and I was trying to not just be like completely spoiled. I knew that Vanessa had left, but I don't know the why. So
we don't know
what
why.
happened?
We don't know why.
How
Because
she emerged from the house.
according to Twitter, she had a medical emergency. They stated because she didn't state it, but whoever was running her Twitter account did, and said that everything's fine now, but she's out the house. That was kind of just it. I think she's taking it back over at this point, her Twitter account. But this is a second removal.
Well, yeah, no, it seems really. I don't want to say it seems shady. Like, my assumption is it was a medical thing. That is my assumption. I did see on Twitter that whoever was running her social
Page.
media said she didn't quit. So that either means I don't think she did anything egregious enough to have been removed from the house. She didn't slap anybody. She like nothing happened. So my assumption is it was some mental health thing or maybe a physical health thing that they don't want to talk about.
She doesn't have vitiligo. She does have alopecia, so it could be a medical thing.
No idea. But I will say that she was at the Calgary Flames game just 2 nights ago. Like she was out and about having a gay old time, happier than ever, probably more happy to be out and see her family and her being normal.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it was probably a mental health thing. Like I imagine it would be extremely hard to be in the Big Brother house and feel that isolated. And she kind of seemed to be on a roller coaster. Like,
not just that though.
People. I don't want to manipulate people. I'm in a fight with him. He's offended me. I'm emotional. I'm not emotional.
Hold on, Kylie. Not just that though. Everything that happened the week before with Rob and her blowing up the house and all that stuff. So you have both those things coupled with each other within days. I could definitely see it being something like that.
Can we talk a little bit about this? Because this isn't the first time we've had people leave potentially. We're making this up. We don't really know because of mental health stuff.
Right.
And so, like, is there something fundamentally wrong with casting right now? Like, are they bringing in people that maybe aren't going through enough psychological testing enough? Like
no.
Listen, but one of the things I assume they're not just casting a person and looking at them and like they need to go in and make sure they have grit. They have to make sure they've got resiliency.
Sheldon, time is different though. Times are different. And if she left because of a mental health thing, that's 2 consecutive Big Brother seasons that someone was removed. But
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong that she left because of a mental health thing.
That's not what I'm saying either.
What I'm saying, I'm just saying that it is a shame to be putting a person in a house who might have to leave because of a mental health.
No, Sheldon, that's not what I'm saying either. Shima was having a mental health thing going on when she was going crazy during Big Brother 11, right? Shima was having a bit of an episode. Yeah. If you think about it, in Big Brother 2, that dude was walking around with a knife. Right, there was things that have happened throughout Big Brother history. The reason I said we're in different times is that now we care a lot more about mental health, so we're checking those things out more instead of just exploiting them and like leaving them in the house to continue to spiral in front of us. You know what I'm saying? That's and so they get physical before we didn't remove anyone. I mean, Willie Hantz was doing some crazy stuff, and he doesn't get removed until he puts hands on somebody. Brandon Hantz on Survivor was having a very obvious mental breakdown, and it took his tribe throwing the challenge for him to go. They didn't just pull them on their own. You know what I'm saying? So like we're just in different times where these things get looked at and they're like, Do you want to leave? We should probably have you leave.
My assumption is, I could be wrong. It wasn't her choice.
Right.
Don't think. I think somebody like. I think the
I'm
doctor,
just assuming it was her choice. I mean, and once again, these are all assumptions because we have no idea.
We don't know. We don't know.
But there's a picture of her at the Flames game. Very happy. I hope she has a good life.
Yes. And so,
she was a great lady.
I mean, I don't know what the answer is because obviously you want to get a cast of people that, you put 16 people in the house and all 16 of them are going to be there until they have a proper exit from the house. And I mean, you've almost cast a quarter of your cast willing to quit the game or have to leave.
But you don't.
For whatever
here's the thing, though. You don't know what's going to happen till you're in the thing, right? But
you could do psychological testing. You could see where people are.
Trust me.
And I'm sure they do.
There has to be some indication. There has to be.
So okay. No. There's.
I don't know. We're not psychologists.
We don't know. There's definitely how people are going to react to things is tough to gauge. And I know that from experience. Like when you're in a thing, it could change things, right? How you react, how the thing works for you it changes.
And this isn't starting a new job. This isn't trying a new restaurant. You are indoors most of the day. You have got cameras jibbing and joobing all around you. You got fucking Zach running around like a maniac.
You're on national you're international television.
You're right, Kevin. Like this is an insane situation. You're
a lot of
fighting
stuff
for money.
It's a lot of stuff. And that you just don't know how it's going to affect you until we're here, right? And that's what's tough. Like you can have Kylie, you can have an idea they're gonna do psychological testing, but then like when you get into it, because I didn't think about what you're saying, Sheldon, before. Like I didn't think about that idea, but like coupling what happened after Hope yells at her, then pairing that with how she reacts to Zach, then what she does after she reacts to Zach, and then how the following few days go.
Here's my line of thought on this is they're not casting just the most stable people necessarily, and I don't mean that negatively. They're trying to cast dynamic people that are going to react emotionally. So I mean, I think that there is this gamble there, and that you want people that are going to have these big emotional reactions to, I can't believe you've accused me, because you don't want somebody that is like.
Yeah, but you're making an underlying assumption there, Kylie, that just people that are emotional are automatically
I didn't
mental health issues. Like I don't know if that's necessarily true either.
Well, I as a whole, yes, most of these people are going to be dynamic personalities.
Yes.
They're not going to cast just straight-laced, what you see is what you get, because they're making a television show.
True.
Yes.
And so whenever you're bringing in those personalities, there has to be some that pop in certain ways that you're like, yeah, you know what, this isn't that surprising to me. And I think whenever you look at Vanessa's reactions in the house, like you can't necessarily, and I'm not trying to talk negative about her. But I don't feel like it should be that big of a surprise that, when shit gets tough, that she's like, oh, maybe this isn't quite for me.
And I kind of feel bad talking about her mental health when we don't know that was the issue. So I feel a little guilty having this discussion, but I will just say a little bit off topic. We have all been speculating the fact that maybe this was a last minute cast because they were planning on going a very different direction. And maybe the fact that there have been so many people that are willing to leave, 2 people that left, like maybe this really just was
not just people willing to leave, Sheldon. Vanessa says in a deleted scene, when Kuzi puts her up, she says, listen, I'm now just learning this part of the game of being on the block. Yeah. We have Anika, who we know that has said that she's learning the game while being in the house. Dan knows nothing about this game. The amount of people that don't know anything about what's going on here tells me that they might not have been the cast we were looking for initially. And so there's a lot of recruits. There's a lot of recruits here. A lot of recruits.
Which is so weird for Big Brother Canada, which is why I keep on going back to this fact that this must have been an all-star season, and then something happened. because it doesn't make after 10 years of good casts, it's impossible to me that we have
And
this.
this cast isn't bad. This cast isn't bad. I'm liking these guys.
It's
I'm
kind of a
liking these guys.
bomb, to be honest. Like this is a full on shit show that we're watching.
It's a shit
Like,
show.
I feel
Yeah,
like
and I'm okay
I
with
feel
it.
like it's a shit show from like the fact of them pulling the feeds and then having
that's
multiple
production
quilts
side. Production
and
side, yeah.
no, I'm just saying like
I
the
don't.
whole
Well, we don't
thing
know what happened
as
with the
a,
mall.
as a whole.
We don't know what happened with the mall.
We don't know what happened to anybody.
No, but the thing is, well, we know what
We
happened
don't
to
actually
Zach.
know anything
We know what happened to Zach.
because the Daily Duncan isn't really telling us much.
This is true, but with the mall, we knew that she was a super fan, so that's just really odd for her to react this way. But we get Vanessa on the block, then Vanessa goes home. I thought it was crazy that they tell her koozie, so now you have an hour to pick a new person.
Yeah.
And I loved when she goes upstairs and Hope walks upstairs and gets to attention and salutes her and says, anything you need, queen, whatever you need from me, I will do.
And she strokes the Hope ego of like, I know that you want to compete. And so that's what I need you to do. I'm going to put you up
She needs to stroke the ego. She tells him, my knights, I need you. He takes a knee and he says, whatever my liege needs, I shall do.
Yeah.
And he volunteers. He volunteers to go on the block. And as Kylie said, she said, I know that you want to get this win. And he says, yes, I'm here to compete for my queen. And then she says, then compete you will. I loved while this was happening, Ty walks up. Hope remains at attention while Ty looks around, says, are you good? She's like, I'm good. He's like,
so you're gonna do Renee, right?
Yeah.
She's like, bro, you walked in on the handshake between me and Hope.
Correct. The pledge, not the handshake, Kylie, the pledge that he just made to me. He just made a pledge to me. Like you walked in on the pledge and
the audacity.
No,
Nelly T. Audacity.
This is just so insane. But alas, she puts up Hope, who she should have put up, in my opinion, all along, because Hope would be able to compete, especially to me, in this game, the HOH cannot play. So if there's someone willing to play for me, I need them on the block.
Yep.
Because they're willing to play for me. So that way I can get what I want done. Because at that point, let's say Hope wins the veto, now put up Vanessa with the option of taking out Santina, right? Then put her up. But put up someone that can play for you if you have a knight that's willing to play.
Yeah.
Because Hope's probably not going to go home based on his relationships.
Yep.
Well, Hope goes up there, and then we get Santina breaking down a little bit more. She's like, she just told me I'm not the target, yet she just put up Hope, who I know is not the target. So I hope there's another plan in place, because how am I the one that's up here?
And look, she was right. Like it didn't make sense. She just didn't understand what was going on.
Well, I mean, I love that Koozie is basically like, this girl, we're not riding together. I'm not going to tell her my ultimate plan. I will try to make you feel a little bit better by telling you that you're not the target. But guess what? If my plan doesn't come to fruition, then you are the target. So I'm not going to give you any ammunition. Not going to dig my own grave. Thank you, Koozie, for having a brain in your head.
My watching of the show was that I think she actually wanted Santina to leave over Zach.
She did.
I don't initially, and I never really understood that, honestly. If they all understood, outside of him being a meat shield, of somebody that's always going to be next to go, I don't fully understand the why.
Well, she doesn't want Santina there. Santina's not really rocking with them, like we talked about a minute ago. So since that's the case, she needs Santina gone. Ty constantly wants to save Santina. Moving ahead a little bit, we get the POV competition done. Hope wins the veto. Hope is going to take himself off. That's his plan. He talks to Renee. Renee says to him, don't make a dumb move. Do
No
what you got to do.
Marcellus.
Use your head.
Yeah.
Before that, when Hope was going to
By
play
the
for
way,
the veto.
what a great conversation by Renee.
Yes.
Like, wonderful gameplay. So smart, so simple, so careful. I loved it.
She says,
Yeah.
you're in control. Do what you want to do, but don't make a dumb move. He says, I'm going to take myself off the block. And she says, thank you. Because that is how you do it. Because previously, Ty had told Hope, when you win the
You
veto,
may have to stay up there.
no, before that, he told him, you're going to have to do what I need you to do with the veto before you play it in the veto.
Right.
And then he said, all right, man, I'm down to do whatever for the team. And then when Ty goes up once again to try to convince Kuzi to put up Renee, Kuzi says, I've thought about it. I'm not putting up Renee. I'm not putting up any of those girls. I'm going to put up your buddy Zach. I'm going to put up your buddy Zach or Dan. One of them. I'm going to put one of them up. And
Or
he says,
you just say your buddy, Zach?
yes. And she says, I'm not going to put, he says, well, Dan I could think about, but I'm never going to think about it if you're putting up Zach. Well, my bye guy, that's probably what I'm going to do. And she says, and best believe I have the votes to send him home. That's when Ty, in his infinite wisdom, decides to go tell Hope, I have something crazy, dog. I have something crazy ideas. He says, use the veto on Santina. And he's like, no, I think I need you to stay up there because I think it's time for you to go home. What?
That's
What?
because he's got this idea from Hope, because Hope is, big brain in this whole game. And he has decided that he is going to use this strategy of he doesn't want to be here. He only wants to be here for a short time. And so later y'all can just get rid of him. It won't be any big deal. He's not going to care.
He said, line me up next week, guys. Line me up next week. Take me on next week. And Ty's like, nope, we're going to go ahead and do it right now. We're going to just take you out right now. That way we can save Santina and Zach.
But what's the important thing that's happening in these conversations here?
Ty's telling people what's going on?
No. The handshake.
Well, there was a hand. Listen. We're getting there, okay? Kylie's just jumping around. So
this is literally happening when this is happening.
But the handshake had already happened before. It had happened before with the weeks before, because after this happens, Hope decides to use the veto on himself.
Correct.
Which he should. Immediately, though, Ty says to Zach, I got something that's going to destroy him. We're going to be okay.
Zach goes on the block.
Zach goes on the block. He's the replacement nom. Santina now feels new life. She realizes Plan Z is a plan that could keep her safe. Yes. Like, stoked. But Ty says, no worries. I'm going to take care of this. Apparently, there was a note that Hope had that he got the second day he was in the house. He's told a few of his friends about it, a few of the boys.
No. Not the second that he's in the house. No. Apparently, his clothes arrived late.
The day after.
The day after the first eviction has aired.
Yeah.
No.
Yes. That is what Arissa said. That the note arrived the day after the first eviction aired. So it had the potential to have aired footage information in the note.
I thought it came the second day that they were in the house.
I thought it said the second date.
The second day they were in the house.
It said the day after the first eviction aired. I literally watched it 2 hours ago.
So the point is, though, this note is nothing but it was stuck in his sock. It was smuggled in his socks. And the note was just like a little love letter from his girlfriend. Nothing incriminating, nothing damning. Zach and Ty have decided that this is their get out of jail free card. They are going to be safe from this note because they're going to go ahead and tell on Hope so that way they can be safe. Now, mind you, they've known about this note for quite a while. They have known about it. They've seen it. Rumor is that he might have showed Rob under the covers. At one point, Rob and Hope had a conversation under some blankets. People think that the note might have been under there. They've known about this note, but now is the time they decided to weaponize the note and say that he's been cheating and that he should be gone. This is a person that they were working with, but because he used the veto on himself, they have decided that he's now persona non grata, and they are going to blow up his game in a way that is little underhanded and seedy. Sheldon, you have something to say about cheating. I don't think this was cheating having this note.
Look, I don't know. The word cheating is an interesting word. He shouldn't have had that note.
Correct.
The one thing, and I'm actually not 100% sure how I feel about this. So that's why I really wanted to talk to the two of you tonight. It wasn't even his fault, as far as we know, that the note was in the house. His girlfriend, fiance, might have just sent it in. We don't know. They could have planned it ahead as well.
And I'm also sorry, this comes back on production a little bit too. Like, how do you not search his stuff?
Everything.
So, I mean, it's kind of their fault.
So did it impact the actual game, the mechanics of the game?
No.
Absolutely not. Did it, as Zach said, make him maybe feel better that he could read this letter at night underneath the covers? Obviously. Right? But is it cheating? Well, what I would say is yes. However, I think the way that I actually agree with what production did. Like, I don't think there was enough there to say get out of the house.
Right. I don't think there would have been enough there, period. Like, I don't think he should have been removed from the house under any circumstances. But then also in the light of having somebody quit the episode before or be removed, whatever, and someone earlier in the season, like, you cannot have this happen a third time. Like, you cannot remove somebody from the house. And so it would have had to have been like historic rule breaking for him to have gotten removed from the house. Like, this was such a minor infraction.
It's such a, and not just that, I was reading an article earlier today, and they were talking about how, remember when Dan Giesling had like the cross necklace from his like wife or whatever, or so he said, and someone had like a ring, like when they have these things, like the ring that Kevin Jacobs had last season, like these things are mementos to like remember your loved ones back home. This is a letter, and once you look at the letter, and they, mind you, Zach and Ty read the letter, which is why they knew there was nothing incriminating in it, because both of them constantly said, it doesn't matter what the letter said. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter. They said that multiple times, and one time someone said, well, what did it say? It doesn't matter. It's a note from home. You can't have that in here.
Yeah. Look,
and I mean, my thing is,
I don't disagree with them though. Like he shouldn't have had it in here.
Right, sure. But if you honestly have a problem with it, then you go immediately.
Bring it up ahead of time. That's the thing, is that if you had a problem with it, you got to tell them when you find out about it, instead of trying to use it to your advantage. That was one of the big problems that people had with Michael and Brittany last season in the situation with Kyle, is that they use it when it was advantageous for them. Yes. And that's what happened here, is that these two decide, and not just, unlike Michael and Brittany, these two said, I got something that's going to get Hope. That's not what Brittany and Michael may have thought that, but neither one of them said that out loud.
No, they were like, I'm not going to be evicted. We're going to get this guy kicked out. And if he doesn't get kicked out, then we're all going to walk off the show.
We're walking. And it was
Well, not only that, while Hope was being called into the diary room, the three of them, Zach, Ty, and Dan, were freaking sitting at the table mocking him.
yes,
Like with such
ball game,
Bye-bye.
ball game,
Bye-bye.
ball game.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Like for someone that's still so morally high on this.
Seriously.
You know what I feel the worst for though is Dan, because Dan doesn't know what's going on, not just in the house, but like in this situation specifically. Because Ty comes up to Zach in the storage room, and Zach's sitting in there with Dan, and Zach's like, "So are we gonna do it?" Ty's like, "We gotta wait." Dan's like, "What are we doing?"
We'll
What's
tell you
going on?
later.
We're
We'll tell you
talking
later.
And he's like, but the three of us, we're gonna walk out. Dan's like, hold on. What
What do you mean?
are you
I'm walking out?
for?
I don't want to go to Niagara Falls yet.
What is going on, guys? What is going on? And they're like, we'll tell you
We're
about it in a
walking
minute.
out.
We're walking out, though. If they don't do anything about this, we're walking out. What is happening? What is happening? And,
What is happening?
Can we get to the main event, please?
well, this is important because when we finally get it
Sheldon.
out there,
Sheldon, if you're gonna never mind, I'm not gonna say it.
when Zach and them are talking about it, production says, Zach, come to the diary room, because obviously you're talking about some shit we need to know about, and we don't know about this shit. They go in there. He said, did you guys hear when he's like, they said, do you want to tell us? He's like, not really. Because he's like, this is not the most opportune time for me.
No,
This isn't the best time
Okay.
for me to tell you about
I'll wait until it's right time.
And they're like, you're gonna have to tell us. Okay, well, Hope has this note, and he has it, and yeah,
It's
and they're like,
cheating.
it's cheating. And they're like, have you known about it? Yeah.
Yeah.
How long have you known? For a little while.
So
And they're like, this is literally the first time we have heard anything about this note. I'm like, how are you Big Brother? Like, you're literally watching them all day long.
I don't
It is
get
your
that
job
at
to know
all.
everything that's going on. How
Yeah.
have you missed multiple conversations about this?
About
note?
this note. Yes.
Yeah, I don't get it. And they obviously read it somewhere. But,
Uh-huh.
like, I don't get it. They must have. I don't know how big. I want to see the note. Yeah, I
Well,
don't get it.
when he pulls it out in the diary room, it looks like a full size sheet of paper almost. Like it's not like a little bitty scrap.
Well, the notes
strange.
out there, the info gets out that the notes out there. When Hope tries to talk about it because he's concerned he's about to go, they first tell him to shut it down. They can't talk about production. And then when they do allow him to talk about it, and he explains what it is, no one else seems too fazed by it.
Well, they all knew about it, and they all knew what was on it.
Yes.
I wouldn't be
Yes.
surprised if he told everybody.
Well, I mean, I'm
Like-
sure that he tells them all exactly what it is. And I mean, Kuzi is exactly right. She's like, is this breaking a rule? Yes. Is this like giving him some unfair advantage where, he was able to win the POV and pull himself off of the block because of his super note charging him? No. Like, come on, Ty. Don't be ridiculous.
So after this happens, Zach what's his face? Hope is sitting there, and this
In his room.
and he's sitting in his room stewing because he's like thinking about his thing.
He's terrified.
Ty comes in there and he says, so I'm hearing, man, that you're saying I'm intimidating you. And Hope is like, bro, not right now, bro. Like, leave me alone. He's like, no, you're saying I'm intimidating you. How am I intimidating you? The way he walks in there, when you ask someone, are they intimidating you?
And they're
All right, that's-
sitting down.
Yes, and you're in a position of power, a stance of power. Go ahead, Sheldon.
I don't know. If we were putting bets, Hope beats Ty any day, I think.
I think so too, but
I
we're
don't
not going to
know.
be putting hands on anybody. But Ty comes in there and says that. Ty leaves. Zach comes right in right
You're
after.
a clown.
Well, no, we're not a clown yet because Zach comes in right after and he says, look, man, I know what you got to do, man. Like, your boy just rolled up in here and like asked me if I was saying he's intimidating me, man. Like, he just came in here like arms out. Immediately, Zach goes to Ty, says this, then both of them come into the room and says, now you said I came in here with my arms out? Bro, you were just in here. Why are you back? What are we doing here? That's when Hope gets up. And Hope's like, okay, if we were going to do this, we're going to do this. And then that's when he calls him a clown.
Who calls who a clown?
Ty calls Hope a clown.
Them are fighting words.
But he calls him a clown because he believes he's a clown. Like that's the yuckiness of Ty to me. Like he thought that Hope was not going to use the veto and leave the house. He thought that like how ridiculous does Ty think he is? How smart and powerful does Ty? How cocky is that man? Like it's so like weird. It's so disrespectful.
It is. Well, it gets even grosser because as Ty walks to the door, Hope tells him, "Say, call me a clown again, man." So he turns around and says, "You're a clown."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Okay, no fisticuffs happen." Ty leaves, and then that's when Zach tells Hope that Hope was in the wrong for what just happened. I was flabbergasted. I couldn't believe this. Why are you're antagonizing this man?
I've never punched a person in my life, but if I was Hope in that situation, I might have punched somebody.
He showed great restrint.
I don't know. I don't know if I would have been able. I don't think I'm that strong.
Yeah, he was able to hold himself back. He was going through all this stuff with the letter and everything like that. They leave the room, and then that's when all hell starts breaking loose around the house. The conversation about the note is everywhere. Kuzi says to Ty, like, "So you saw the note?" He's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "So why are you like just now bringing this up?" Like, and Ty says, "Oh, you're just mad that your little plan didn't work." And he's like, "What?"
She's like, "It did work, and your friend's gonna go home, and you're gonna go home.
You're gonna go right behind him. You're gonna go right behind him. Yeah. You're going right behind him. No one respects Zach or Ty for what has happened. There's a giant blow up on the stairs where Kuzi shuts down Zach. Anika jumps in there. Daniel tries to defend Zach. Explain this.
I can't.
He tries to defend Zach.
But this moment is like, I already really liked Kuzi, but this moment where she calls Zach out and she's like, "Okay, if you are like on this moral high ground and that this was cheating, why did you wait until this moment to weaponize it?" And she completely shuts him down.
He runs
and
away.
I was like, we stan a queen that will not take shit or back down from people.
Shuts him down. He like walks. Well, I guess I'm the bad guy. Yes,
you
are.
And like I said, I mean, it's fine. Either there's nothing wrong if Zach and Ty would have gone to the DR and been like, "Hope has this letter. We think it's bullshit, and he shouldn't have it." Is it being a snitch? Whatever. Who cares? Like, he's breaking a rule. So if they want to go and tell him, then that's fine. If they would have done it initially.
If they actually cared. They didn't actually care.
If they just did it initially, even if they were trying to get him kicked out, who cares? Like, I'm not even going to say, I'm not going to sit here once again, like maybe I'm morally corrupt. I'm not even going to sit here and say that if I'm in their position, I'm not trying to get 15 people out of the fucking house any means necessary for me to win the money.
But that's
so
not
if
even
you're breaking a rule, I will be
Kylie.
a snitch and I will tell on you.
That's the thing, though. That's the thing. If they were just going to be a snitch to get him out then yeah. But that was never the plan. The plan was to use this for our gain because we're in a pinch and it's the only way to do it. That's the point.
Because we want him out of. We're using this information to try to get him kicked out of the house
instead of us.
For me, the moral of the story is the lunacy of these two people who thought that they were brilliant game players who couldn't get through 3 weeks.
Yeah,
like they're horrific game players. Ty has no hope. He should have.
He does have hope. He's in the house still, and that was the problem, right? He wanted no hope, and hope stayed. They gave him a single HOH off
sit out
and no vote. And now, one thing that I loved this was the fact that Zach continually said, "If they don't kick him out, we're walking. We are walking."
We are walking.
knowing
And I'm like,
that he's on the block, knowing that he's going home anyway, he keeps saying we are walking.
look, I'm sorry, but if I am friends with Ty in the outside world, and if he would have walked out that door with Zach, I would have greeted him with the clown wig and the clown nose because you, my friend, are the clown. Because you just gave up $100,000 for this man. Why? Like, why? If that is Zach's conviction, then why can't Zach walk out on his own like a big boy? Why do you have to
Wait a
walk out with
minute.
him?
Wait
So,
a minute.
Ty, I'm
Zach's
sorry,
conviction.
you are the clown.
Kylie,
You suck.
Zach's conviction, because Zach says we're walking if nothing happens, but I am going to try to campaign and get the votes, because if I get the votes, I may stay.
Because if it's fine.
Which is, it's
If
like,
everybody will keep me, it's fine. Like, I'm going to be mad and it's still wrong, but
yes.
So basically, what he was saying is, either I stay and who else? Santina goes home, or we both go home.
It was the fact that this is one of those situations where like your boss came to fire you and he said, before you hand me that letter, I quit. Bro, you were getting fired anyway. We came to fire you anyway.
But I quit. You didn't fire me.
Yeah, look, I just want to reiterate Kuzi's ability. Listen, if I was in Kuzi's shoes, I would not have been able to come up with what she said and process the information fast enough to make such a completely crisp and wonderful argument. Like, she was bang on. She did exactly what she needed to do. And it also terrifies me because now everybody in the house knows how smart she is.
But I
don't think anyone
scares me.
I think she came out like smelling like roses.
I hope so.
Because
I hope so.
Zach's gone. Vanessa left, which nobody is that upset about.
Zach walked out the door. Zach walked out the door.
The
Ty
back
does
door.
not follow.
Yeah.
Ty does not follow.
And
can we talk a little bit about that diary room scene with the both of them in there?
Yeah.
I'm sure we didn't see everything.
Correct.
But what was interesting to me is there wasn't even the discussion that we saw from production of them saying, why? Are you sure? They're just like, get the hell out.
No. I'm sure they asked them. They talked about the moral thing, the morality.
Well, and I mean, the BBUS, like they had Sam in BB20 in the DR for like 3 days, convincing her ass to stay in the house. And I mean, Zach walked out apparently in hours because Arissa said that this happened late Wednesday night.
Well, no, it wasn't even that. It was at midnight. They try to get the votes. Claudia tells him that she doesn't think she's going to vote to keep him, and he says, "Well, now's the time because it's midnight." And within 12 hours, within 14 hours, I'm going to be voted out anyway. So, in order for me to make a stand, we have to leave now,
right now,
or else I'm getting fired. I have to quit before I get fired.
And once again, like, gosh darn Claudia, like every once in a while, she looks like she has a little bit of a backbone and then she completely bends. And I'm like, girl, you are making me so frustrated.
There's not, she annoys me. She annoys me so much. And, in the worst way possible, because there is a player in there. There is a player in there who's willing to potentially give up her game for this idiot. Like what is this?
He is a clown, to use his own words.
I don't get it.
Stigmatized.
I don't know what that means. I'm scared of it.
Hypnotized by the penis.
I actually I truly think she has a chance to play this game. I believe it. I think she could win, but this man is going to bring her down.
That's fine because she's apparently an idiot too, so she can just go on with him.
Oh my god.
Well, so
what we missed in all of this is another moment that Kuzi shined that we missed, and that was her nomination speech putting Zach on the block, where she's like, they say you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, so I do not want to miss my shot, and I don't miss.
She's fantastic.
And it was great.
She's fantastic.
She's great. Zach is gone.
Thank
Zach
you.
quit.
Can we have one more thing I want to talk about. We missed the conversation when Anika, Kuzi, and Daniel were in the room, and Daniel saying, "No, I'm not going to vote out Zach."
Kuzi tells Anika and Daniel that she's going to be putting up Zach. Anika says that's fine. It has to be her or Ty. It has to be him or Ty. And Daniel's like, I don't understand why it has to be Zach.
Well, no. I think he's even he's talking about once Zach is on the block and they're discussing the votes, and she's like, "Hey, if Nene
If
and
Hope doesn't have a vote
and
the girls flip,
Hope doesn't have a vote, Nene and Claudia vote to keep him. Like your vote does matter, Daniel. And if you vote to keep him and he stays, our game relationship is done." And I love Kuzi laying down the law like that. But then I also, even though I hate Zach and Daniel, you're going to look like a clown too. I like that Daniel is like, this isn't like keeping Santina is not good for my game. Like we've got to stop this mentality of you have to do what the HOH wants or you have to do what the house wants if it's not good for your game.
I disagree.
If Daniel doesn't want to vote him out because it's not good for his game, then he should not have to vote him out.
The reason I disagree is because when we were talking about putting up Zach and Ty, we were talking about their influence. If I'm in the house, all of them were together and they discussed it together. And they were discussing how their influence, the way that they get their tentacles in you, they discussed this. So for Zach to then have already gotten his tentacles into Daniel and Kuzi saying, with Hope not having a vote, we don't have the numbers of the thing we've already discussed and talked about as to why this is not good for any of us.
But he responds back of, we talked about this being a 3-headed monster, and one of the other heads of the monster is on the block, and it is better for me personally. I don't have a relationship with Santina, so I don't want to keep her. I have a relationship with Zach, so I'm going to keep him. Like this makes 100% logical sense. If that is the direction Daniel wants to take his game, he should have been able to do that. Yes, Kuzi was also in the right of, hey, I'm trying to strong arm you to voting this man out because I want my will done. And if you don't do what I want you to do, then our game relationship is over. I love it from both of them.
I think the difficulty here is that I actually believe that Kuzi wants the best for Daniel. I believe that it's Kuzi, Anika, and Daniel in Kuzi's mind.
Yeah, no, I think so too.
I just think that Daniel wasn't getting in his mind the fact that Zach is playing a game for Zach. And Kuzi, I think, was basically saying, look, he's not really with you, and I'm going to threaten you with this because you don't freaking get it. You think you're playing a game with him, but you are not.
He's not actually good for your game. He's not actually good for your game. I know you think he is.
It would have been a terrible game decision. But I love that he is at least standing up for his right to choose who he wants to play the game with. Now, whether 100%. It's a good decision game-wise or personally.
And Kylie, I respect him choosing making his decision for what's right for his game, which is why she says, if you choose him, you don't choose me.
Right. And good for her.
I don't know. I would have been really upset if she would have said something like that to me. Because let's say I was acting like Dan, and I will use Daniel, and I will use the word I wasn't seeing the truth, and she would have said that, I would have been really, truly 100% offended and hurt, and my automatic direction would have been, I need to get Kuzi out.
Really? Even though she's working with you, because she then states, because this is my biggest thing about her argument, and I loved it, was that she said, me, Santina, Ty, and Zach came in together, and we all made a pact to keep each other safe. If we were on the block next to each other, she would save me over you because of this situation that we had go on. I know you don't believe it, but this is the truth.
Yeah,
so,
but that's the I hate to say it, but that's the beauty of Zach. Zach is a master manipulator.
Yes,
so it doesn't matter what Kuzi would have said to him or not said. And again, I think she was 100% trying to do good for Daniel. 100%. Mm-hmm. But I don't think Daniel would have ever believed it.
Right. No, Daniel thought his relationship with Zach was better and different than what it was. The only person Zach had any loyalty in that house was Zach. And the only person Ty has any loyalty in that house to is to Zach. And so that is where they're different, is at least what I will give Zach, complete ass, but he was 100% there for him and to win the game, whatever means that he could win. Okay? You got to at least give him that.
And I have to say, like, this is one of the biggest difficulties of not having our daily dabbles. It's the fact that we actually don't know what Zach and Daniel's relationship was. They may have been spending hours together.
And this
They
was
might have
a
a final
shock.
two. Like all of a sudden the show started this week and they were best friends and he would give up
Not
his
just
game
best friends, they're best friends, and Daniel says, well, me and Zach have a little friendship going on. And you're like, when did this come about?
What?
Where did this come from?
Oh, okay.
It was all crazy. This has been this week, though, in Big Brother. This coming week, there's going to be a secret HOH, which is
Ooh, I'm
even
excited.
better because with the daily doses, we don't know who is going to be the HOH because they're not going to have anyone tell us. And we're only getting an edited version of it, so we'll never know. So we'll find out Tuesday who the HOH is. I have a good feeling that Ty will be on the block regardless, unless
I'd put Ty and Hope up there
How'd you put Hope up there?
because you're a cheater. I'm kidding.
I wouldn't mind if Ty or Dan leave, obviously. But I do have a question for both of you.
Yeah.
Did BBCAN handle this season properly? This season handle this week properly? They turned off the daily doses. They gave us a weird few edited episodes. Do you think they made the right move by keeping Hope in the game? Were they fine? Did they handle it exactly as they should have, or did BBCAN production screw the heck up?
I think they did a fantastic job, an amazing job.
Right.
I mean, even get all the way down to giving the rest of them letters to make up for the fact that Hope had one himself.
And now Hope's a hero. Everybody got a letter.
Look at Hope taking care of the people. You know what I'm saying? And like that, I thought that was fantastic.
I think they handled it well because, like I said, there's literally no scenario where they could have lost two people like that in a day, which they end up doing anyways.
Even if they could scheduling wise, I think that this offense nowhere near being expelled.
No.
Nowhere near.
It's so minor.
And then especially because you give everyone else a letter too, everyone's even now. So
yeah, how did they get the letters there so fast?
They have letters from their family members.
I don't know. I don't know. But I assume. Well, the thing is, we also didn't fully. I don't know. Did we get a full timeline of when this all actually started? Like this started on Tuesday, and then they gave the verdict on Wednesday.
Yeah, this was.
It started after the veto.
This was immediately after the veto, which was Monday.
So Monday,
and then Tuesday, all this stuff goes down, and then Wednesday Zach quits.
And we didn't have the daily doses, the daily Dunkins, the daily whatever they are.
They turned off the feeds. They turned off the digital get down on.
I like it when it's a double D. The digital Dunkaroos.
No, that was a straight up NSYNC reference.
It was. They turned off the digitals on Tuesday. They said none on Tuesday, none on Wednesday, and then there was one on Thursday, but there was one this morning. The only spoiler you got is that it may appear that based on conversations, no one knows for sure, but Big John might got it, but no one knows.
Oh, please.
But the way he's talking is that he told Hope that Hope is safe. He doesn't know who has it, but he knows Hope is fine. That's all he knows.
Kylie, do you think they handled it well?
Yeah. There's no scenario where you remove Hope for that, and it is what it is. I mean, I also think that it's their fault that the note even made it into the house. So
absolutely. Look, this was a production screw up. Like, no doubt, they screwed up. They screwed up, and they screwed up getting in the house. They screwed up that it took them a long conversation in the house for them to know that it was in the house, while people already knew inside the house. Like there seems like, I don't know, maybe they're coming back on staff or something, but like that is weird that they didn't know. The one thing I did not like about it is when at the end of the show, I think she, Arissa, went out of her way to like be positive about Zach, and to like that was like
No.
she could not have.
You know
liked
what?
him,
Julie
man.
Chen Moonves, she'd have been like, you know what? This heathen here needs all the prayers that we can get. And he is going to hell because he quit this
That
game.
is not
And we have excommunicated him from the church. I mean, the Big Brother house.
That is not what Julie Chen Moonves would have said.
She
There would have been a lot of Christian references, but she doesn't lambast anyone anymore. She would have been like, I'm praying for Zach that he gets the prayer that we'll just all join me in prayer. Right here on
hold
the
on,
Big
that's
Brother
not what
set.
Arissa did. Arissa basically, I don't think she thanked him, but she kind of thanked him for giving us 3 weeks of entertainment. And
he was entertaining.
He did, but he was also nasty. And you know, maybe I'm happy there wasn't any digital discovery because I didn't have to see more than.
I love the fact that Ty is basically Daniel from last season that says, "Get ready for the boring season."
Someone will be crazy. Don't worry.
Please.
All right.
Okay, I have a dream. Wow, that sounded just like Martin Luther King Jr. But
yes.
I did
Just
not
like
mean
him.
I did not mean it like that. But I do have a dream that the person that gets rid of Ty is Claudia. I want it so badly. Please, BBCAN gods, please make her an HOH to get rid of Ty.
She's not going to do it. She's not going to do it.
Please. She will have my redemption. I have a dream.
That is all we have for this week's episode. Kylie, do you have anything you want to tell the peoples?
No, I don't. Just excited. I'm interested in the next little twist. I think it could be fun, very interesting.
Did y'all see that traders like table that they set up there in the backyard?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It was awesome. I can't wait. I wonder what they've got up their sleeves. I also assume that we're about, because of the 2 people that left, we're gonna lose a double or a triple at some point this season that we would have had.
Definitely.
There's been 5 people that have left the house, and there's only been 2 evictions.
2 evictions.
What a week. What a show.
What a week.
I do have a question. I know you asked Kylie about if she has something to plug or whatever. I have a question for Kylie. Kylie, what does it say on your shirt?
Texaholic, baby.
I thought, oh my God, I'm sitting here for the last hour and a half thinking it says sexaholic, thinking that is so not you. Okay,
That's
you're a
even
texaholic.
more appropriate.
Cool.
Sheldon, where can they find you?
You can find me at KG Fury on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Grindr, all of the places. Find me at KG Fury.
You can find me at those places, probably not Grindr, but all the other places you can probably find me. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back on Thursday to discuss Survivor and be back next Friday right here to talk about the week in the BBCAN.
Are we getting a merge? Is what's going to happen
Who knows on Survivor? But thank you for joining us. Good night.
I hope Ty leaves.